everyone. What's funny, guys? I have Ubisoft ignored, so I can't see the games they're selling. I'm not bailing you out. Too early. Too early. I'm going crazy. Like when I tell you, do as I say, not as I do. I mean it. Like, I'm crazy. I am quite the character. I'm quite the character. I'm a Disney princess. I'm just kidding. For Disney. Fluffy Dwago. Yay. Wait, why am I fluffy? Frick you. I kind of want to do like a little bit of react. Oh, that's sweet. My brain stopped for a second. I'm sorry. Blah. Was I gonna react too? I don't remember. What was it? I don't remember. It's a blade. I'm like looking through my Discord and like trying to remember what things I wanted to see. Oh yeah, okay, I did say this, and I do want to look at this. Get an Exalted Flamethrower. Wait, why do they talk about Frost and Nova? I don't know. Let's find out.
We don't even have like Irish content
England,
creators,
Irish,
right?
Scottish, it's all the same.
Potatoes? That's the joke. Oh.
This was on the dev look. We're gonna be looking at Temple, new guitar frame. Looks interesting. Interesting. I think I'm gonna go closed captions just so people like can, just in case you can't hear.
I was like, how could you? That's the joke.
I like how this says 720, but it's not.
Literally the most Irish person on.
Oh wait, yeah. Let me
Look,
hear his voice in my
that's
head.
not
Hey, all you fuckers.
1080.
Doesn't it say that?
I mean,
Why is it-
sure, but
That might just be their camera.
Doesn't Tactical Potatoes say
he
that?
swears all the time.
I'm gonna go back down to that.
He does do that, right?
Because I think that's their camera.
Oh my God.
So, Devstream 185 has just ended, which means we have a lot, and I mean a lot, to talk about. Like Rebecca and Megan's attempt at an Irish accent. I have no idea what that was all about.
They tried. They tried so hard, and darlings, don't just don't quit. Don't quit your day job.
So the Techrot Encore update is going to be massive with new Warframe, Proto frames, augments, missions, weapons, quality.
Like, I'm curious about the new Proto frames. From what I understand, you're not gonna be able to date them, which, like, I don't blame them for not like expanding that right away. Because what you guys don't realize is, like, for those who are like, why not? Look at all the other stuff they're releasing. They wouldn't have had time. I'm sure they might, like, eventually add the others. Maybe. It depends, like, what their plans are for those particular proto frames. Like, if they're ever going to actually fully interact with the team and stay around the team. Because otherwise, like, why would they be on the dating thing? Like, they need to be in the group for you to date them. Like, that may be how they decide whether to add a character to the dating sim, is, like, how people interact with that frame during the first quest they're, like, available in. How many people ask for them. But yeah, like, realize that they did a lot of work for that first update with the dating sim. And then they did a lot of work here. Like, it makes sense that they probably wouldn't be available right away. It would be a bit awkward. Well, I don't know how the story's going to go with them. We don't know. As far as I know. So, like, they could totally be on our side. Kind of doubt Syndra will be on our side. She's like a chemical warfare champion, isn't she? I mean, Warframe, isn't she? What is the chem system again? Do I know what the chem system is? I don't know. I might know it, I just don't remember. Geyer Deluxe. Hello? Hex, Lloyd, and Rosalka hair. Drifter operator. Drifter Skuldra outfits. Skuldra weapons. The 13 Coda weapons. Technosite. We're getting mods, cosmetics, and more. Pseudo Exalted rework. What are Exalteds again? I don't remember. My brain. Let's find out.
Of life, huge amount of quality of life improvements, and much more. So let's just not mess about and jump right into it. So this whole dev stream is the second half of what they already showed in the last dev stream that's also coming with this same update. And it's coming on the 19th of March, so not that far away. Now, this is Temple, our 68th Warframe, also known as Flare, our new Proto frame, a David Bowie themed glam rock star, which has been 7 years in the making, I believe. So they have kind of nailed this design. It is a glam rockstar frame with an exalted flame-throwing guitar called Lizzie. That's right, their guitar is alive and the name is Lizzie. Lizzie is a being born from Flare's blood and has their own personality, so we don't know exactly which of them is in control. They both have different personalities, and like I said, it's an exalted flamethrower. Now, from a lore perspective,
the exalted weapons are the weapons
of a rock band called Temple and the Rippers, but their bandmates have all been killed, which is why Temple, or Flare, has joined the fight. Now, Temple is a heat-based warframe. Their passive is a metronome system, which you can see underneath your crosshair, swinging from side to side, but there is a sweet spot in its center. If you cast an ability when the dial is in that center, in that sweet spot, it will amplify your abilities. Each one will have a different kind of mechanic, but it will also give you 50% ability efficiency as well. Now, their first ability is called Pyrotechnics. This is where Temple will unleash pillars of fire. When you cast it on the beat to the metronome, it will double the amount of pillars, and I think this maybe scales with power strength, how many pillars you're going to get. If this looks familiar, then it kind of should to any old school players, because it looks very similar to Ember's old World on Fire, the visuals of it at least. Now, Temple's second ability is called Overdrive. This will surround Temple with subwoofers or speakers that will debuff enemies, making them vulnerable to crits, and casting it on the beat will also, I believe, stun enemies and increase the crits that they take. And it will also add duration to your third ability as well. Now, your third ability is called Ripper's Wail. This will buff teammates with bonus fire damage and also heal Temple, while also, I think Pablo said, gives you some shield as well. And
he's gonna give himself shield. Okay. Basically, Everframe does that now, almost. I like the idea already. And he has his own like built-in efficiency. Like, I have a feeling he's gonna be balanced around that. So his costs are probably gonna be kind of high, like outside of that ring. Is what I'm thinking.
Casting it on the beat will increase the effectiveness of that buff. It will also make you invulnerable to incoming damage as well, so it's kind of an oh shit button. Now, their fourth and final ultimate ability is basically Lizzie, the Exalted Solo, which turns Lizzie into an Exalted Flamethrower that you can shoot elemental projectiles out of, while also doing the heat-based damage from the Flamethrower, which you can see on the bottom right for those elements. Casting those elements to the beat, or, well, outside the beat, will just be normal projectiles, but if you cast it to the beat, the projectiles will be larger. So you can also prime targets, and you can hold this down continuously, or you can tap fire the flamethrower depending on whether groups of enemies are near you or not. But on each beat, it will add whichever element you cast of those four abilities, since they change once you're in that Exalted Flamethrower mode. Now, Temple's first ability is their Subsume, so if you want to put those pillars of fire on any other Warframe, you can do that.
So they do viral, heat, and magnetic. I'm trying to remember what the Archon like elements are. Cold and viral are some of the Archon ones, right? I don't think magnetic is one, but I'm pretty sure cold and viral are. Pretty sure. Yeah. Okay.
In the bonus from the metronome, it will just be the standard amount of pillars from whatever your power strength will be. Now, Temple is also going to come with a Signa, I think they said, and an alternate helmet, which they showed on stream, as well as a signature pistol called the Riot 848, which apparently has some Entrati tech built in. All of the bullets, after you fire them, will teleport back to your gun, and I think deal damage on their way back as well. So it is a heat-based
That's not
Warframe that
teleporting
can
then.
debuff,
That's like...
can heal themselves, has an invulnerability window, has an Exalted Flamethrower, can set loads of enemies on fire, and can prime enemies as well. They sound very, very good, but we're going to have to
Pistol
get our
does sound
hands
really
on
good,
Temple
though.
to see firsthand. Now, the Halvania Mall is expanding to add a pub, which will house the new proto frames for you to interact with and buy things off as well, because some of them are vendors, which leads us up to those new proto frames. Proto frames that cannot be romanced, but you can learn more about them with the Kim system by interacting with them. So this is Velimir, a Frost-themed military agent searching for Neki Rusalka, but Velimir also has an ex-wife or a wife that
Guys, it's lock-on! Lock-on is lock-on!
things maybe didn't end so well with, and they're always fighting. This is that ex-wife, Minerva, aka Saryn, Proto Saryn, which has also joined the fight for the same reason. And that is to find their adoptive child, Neki Rusalka. So they're searching for Rusalka since she's gone missing. Then there is Kaya, our Nova-themed engineer student, who is focused on void science.
I want to romance her! She
That's
looks
our
cute.
other Proto frames. So we've got Proto Nova, Proto Saryn, and Proto Frost on top of Temple, who is also a Proto frame. They're the 4 new ones. Now, these new Proto frames are tied through the Hex Syndicate. That's how you will get them. Rank 4 for the Hex Syndicate apparently unlocks Flare and the new defense that's coming with the 99 mission with this update. And rank 5 will unlock Velimir.
Wait. Is he running the bar? Because if he's running the bar, you should be able to romance him. Okay? He's a bartender. There's a song about falling for the bartender.
And Minerva and Kaya, along with the new mission type, Temporal Archimedia. Now, like I said, they have their own Kim system chat that will give you a little bit more of their story arc surrounding each of these proto frames, who they are and what about them, but you can't romance them. And even Velimir and Minerva have their own group chat, which seems to have them arguing and fighting a lot. But the bigger question would be, what exactly is Temporal Archimedia? Now, Temporal Archimedia is 99's version of Deep Archimedia, with the same kind of modifiers, weapons, frame parameters, except it's set inside 99's tileset or universe with a little bit of a twist. There are stickers or peely picks that you can add to those missions in the Archimedia as added boosts to yourself and your squad, like resist knockdowns, damage boosts, and so on. Now, these stickers are earned by completing Temporal Archimedia missions, and then you can be purchased off Kaya or Proto Nova outside of the pub in the new area of the Halvania Mall with the Pix chips, which is a new resource that you get when you complete the Temporal Archimedia. So you get Pix chips, then you go to Nova and you buy the things off Nova there. Now, Kaya also has 3 new arcanes. Arcane Escape, which works on Mercy Kill. You gain a stack of Escapist, which is a buff, up to 10 times. Every 5 stacks will grant a revive and 12 seconds of invulnerability after fatal damage. Arcane
Wait,
Hotshot,
so that's
you
just
will
basically
gain
lots more
6% weapon
revives.
crit chance when you use abilities that inflict heat stacks, stacking up to 50%, which is a 300% crit chance buff. Heat-based frames are going to absolutely love the heck out of this.
Hi, Andres.
Or
Gosh
if you
darn it,
subsume a
Andres.
heat-based ability
Look
onto
at
any of
his
your favorite
cute
frames.
cacao.
Okay, this arcane is probably looking like the best out of them all. However, Universal Fallout,
No
the
tickles!
third
I'll
arcane,
tickle you.
I'm kind of liking the look of, because I enjoy Corvex a
tickle.
lot. Each radiation status effect on enemies has a chance to drop a universal
Okay.
orb on enemy death. So Wisp, Corvax, Oberon, or maybe a few others if you subsumed maybe Corvax's pillars onto other Warframes. So they're the 3 new arcanes. Now the big question is, Fallout, the third arcane, I'm kind of like a shot. You will gain 6% weapon crit chance when you use abilities that inflict heat stacks.
Wait, what? You will gain weapon crit chance when you inflict heat. So you're telling me that there's an arcane that just makes Ember amazing. He has a crit. I could build Ember to basically just wipe out massive amounts of people with My brain dies, but the flamethrower.
Stacking up to 50%, which is a 300% crit chance buff, heat-based
And it doesn't go back down! Guys!
frames are going to absolutely love the heck out of this, or if you subsume a heat-based ability onto any of your favorite frames, okay? This
No! Leave my viewers alone! Die!
arcane is probably looking like the best out of them all. However, Universal Fallout, the third arcane, I'm kind of liking the look of because I enjoy Corvex a lot. Each radiation status effect on enemies has a chance to drop a universal orb on enemy death. So Wisp, Corvax, Oberon, or maybe a few others if you subsumed maybe Corvax's pillars onto other Warframes. So they're the three new arcanes. Now the big question is, can Temporal Archimedia and Deep Archimedia both be done each week? And the answer is yes, they can. Both modes can be completed weekly because both modes use search pulses as keys, but the rewards operate independently. However, we have got 5 search pulses per week. Deep Archimedia will cost 2. Temporal Archimedia will also cost 2, which leaves you with 1 search pulse in order to do a single Netrocell mission. So you're going to have choices to make whatever you want to do, depending on the rewards you're looking for. From what I believe, Temporal Archimedia is where you will farm the Universal Omniforma, Arcanes, stickers, and of course those Pix chips. And Deep Archimedia is where maybe you will farm the Archon shards, the larger group of Arcanes, and some other goodies as well. Now, there is also a new defense mission called Solstice Square, which is coming with the Encore update, along with its own vendor. In this defense mission, you will have to defend Temple as they rock out after the death of their boy band, of their bandmates, sorry, and Victor is trying to finish the job off and take Temple out as well. This defense has the new wave reduction implemented into it, so it's 3 waves, not 5. It has massive speakers also around the arena that apparently you might be able to activate for bonus damage effects to enemies. Now this mission will give a new resource called Rot Heartstrings, which you can use to buy Temple's parts and of course Temple's weapon off Flare back in Hallvania in the mall at the back of the pub. But the mission also has its own Demolist type of enemy variant called a Screamer that will try to run up to Temple and explode in order to kill Temple that you're going to have to defend Temple against. Now, the defense arena will also change like on the Lua defense missions, and in Phase 2, Temple will more or less bring the house down into a new arena underneath it, where it won't just be Scaldra enemies, which is all that spawns up on top. It will also have Techrot enemies in there as well. So you'll have Scaldra and Techrot at the same time, where you need to keep Temple alive. So basically, this defense mission is where you're going to farm Flare, or Temple's parts, as well as the signature parts for their weapon. Which leads us up to the pseudo Exalted rework. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to let Pablo talk about this in detail since it deserves a better explanation than I could give it, and
obviously.
not just me quickly mentioning bullet points on the graphic card. But there will be a dev workshop.
Yeah, you did pretty much guess that they'd be a elder daddy.
There is one up right now, which I'm going to leave in the description of this video, and I'm going to do a video on it tomorrow in more detail, as well as the Ash rework as well. So I'm just going to let Pablo take it from here just for this little segment.
So we kind of already gave you like an initial rundown last time. What's happening?
She's got notes. You can pull up the
you got
slide.
I'm sure
notes,
you're
okay.
sticking to the script here.
So there's a lot of details. You know, I've actually gotten a lot of questions, and I've seen a lot of Twitter and forums and stuff. There's a bajillion details on this. So we actually have a dev blog which goes over all the tiny little specifics, because there's a lot to go over. So I'm just gonna go over like the big points. Korra, Atlas, Gara, and Ash, as it says there, all are getting basically moddable weapons, which before used to be pseudo Exalted.
Wait, Excalibur slash dash now scales with mods? I thought it always scaled with mods. You told me that wasn't a thing?
It's basically they would grab the mods from your melee weapon, which, you know, unfortunately a lot of people didn't know about, and you know, a lot of people that didn't know about, maybe they didn't use it as much, so on and so forth. So now you can just mod them directly, and it's awesome. Excalibur slash dash will take the mods directly from Exalted Blade, and pseudo Exalteds now have their own melee combo, so it works very similar to the Atlas one. except it has the numbers similar to a regular melee weapon. So things like Blood Rush and stuff like that all work essentially the same. But specifically for Blood Rush, we had a little, so the way Blood Rush works, generally for you, well, the way combo works, sorry. For normal attacks, you get 4x multiplier when it says 12x, and only the heavy attack gets a 12x, which is pretty confusing. I didn't like keeping that on this one because, you know, you would see 12x, but you only get 4x. That's just confusing. So it actually applies the full for 12x, but we had to change the base damage down. So basically, you get an effective 6x. Does that make sense? That was confusing, but
It went from 4 to 12, but down to up.
so it used to be 4. It used to be 4. We made
Then
it
there's a
12,
twist.
Yeah.
but this
And
is way
then-
too much, as 12 would have been way too much damage. So we cut the base damage, so it's effectively a 6x. So you're still 50% larger damage than it is on live right now. But you know, when you see the damage on the pseudo exalted, you might think it's low because you don't know that part.
But now you know.
Yeah, sorry. I know it's confusing. This stuff has been
You
very,
went off
very
script,
complex.
Pablo. I didn't have it on my slide.
Yeah, I forgot to.
Yeah, on my slide.
What else? Yeah, arcane slots and stances now provide the stances provide capacity they didn't.
So here's my question: what's the point of the stat stick weapons now? Like, are they still a thing, or like what was the stat stick? The stat stick was just adding more damage to them, wasn't it?
Before, so they were usually harder to mod. So now you can mod those. Exilus and adapters for there's a few exalted weapons that didn't have Exilus, so now those have it. And then all exalteds and pseudo exalteds have access to both Exilus and the arcane slot. A bunch of different mods that never worked for exalteds now work for exalted, so there's a lot to be done there. Exalted Blade and Saryn Storm now give combo from the ranged attacks, not just from the melee ones, which used to be.
The reason I ask is you could mod the exalted weapons themselves anyways.
Quite a bit of a pain to use directly. Yeah, so it's a lot of things. I know, you know, some people are concerned about, you know, where exactly will the damage land and stuff. I think you'll see once you use it, it is billion times easier to build your combo. You don't have to like pre-build it with your melee weapon and then snapshot it, which, you know, like the 99% of people didn't used to do. So I understand if you're in the 0.1% that did used to do that and has like an amazing ribbon, you might be feeling a little bit of the sting. And I'm sorry for that, but the other 99% of players, this is just huge for them in terms of how much more accessible this is. And just how much more.
Okay, so you said that if you
it
had
is
an
to
amazing
use.
ribbon,
But
I
if you don't mind-
think
Now,
that
for
was
Ashes-
just like weird. So I'm guessing the ribbons aren't even gonna affect it anymore. Maybe they'll eventually release ribbons for the exalted weapon itself. That's my only like theory.
Rework Ash is receiving some changes with more details to come in that dev workshop as well. But for his shuriken, they've increased the number of shurikens he throws from 2 up to 5. The base damage of those has been increased by 50%, and they've also now been changed to throw in an arc, and each hit will gain or add to his melee combo. For his smokescreen, they've increased its duration. For his teleport, they've actually added that or baked that into the Fatal Teleport augment, so that's now part of the ability, and the augment has been changed to give parkour velocity after a teleport, and a kill will extend smokescreen's duration. Now for his Blade Storm, they've made it moddable because of the Pseudo Exalted rework, and they've increased its range, but they've also changed some of its functionality. Like I said, I'll go over that in more detail in a video tomorrow from that dev workshop post. Now, they also showed off 4 new augments. There is one for Wisp and her Sol Gate, which will add Spectral Wisp or new augments. The
Komi one reduces Komi Kuji's cooldown by X when you kill an enemy with the weapon affected by Komi's passive. Okay. I still need to get another Komi. I don't want to. Corvex's Crucible Blast becomes a channeled ability, consuming it. Activate pillars for your chain reactions and their duration, but your mobility is greatly reduced. Kind of like that. Gyre's is projectiles that pass through arc sphere have guaranteed electricity status and X%. Wisp and 2 spectral enemies cast a single blast of soul radiated fire zone on the ground pet. I like that! That might mean that, like, a damage wisp is a thing. The wisp one does seem
is one
very
for
interesting.
Wisp and her Sol Gate, which will add spectral wisps each side of her, and it will leave a radiated fire zone on the ground. So one of those new arcanes could definitely benefit on Wisp. Then for Corvex, Crucible Blast also turns pillars into a chain reaction nuke. Really liking the sound of that. And for Kome, Omakuji's augment will reduce the cooldowns based on your passive effects. Then you have Gyre, whose Arc Sphere augment will add guaranteed electric status to projectiles. And since we have got a Gyre deluxe skin on the way, which looks like this, looks absolute.
Oh, it's so pretty! It's so pretty, chat. It makes her look like a what's the word? Steampunk dancer. I love it.
Incredible, possibly the best looking deluxe skin in my eyes that I've seen in a while.
It is.
Along with that
I have
deluxe
to
skin
agree.
for her Alternox signature weapon as well. Now, for the Technosite Coda system, they've also made a few more announcements, as well as the 13 weapons and how the system is going to work. And the
So
last
pretty.
Devstream, they've mentioned that there is a new infected pimple, which is going to be this green pimple that grows on your Warframe, whereas previously some of the liches will steal things off you. This time around, instead of robbing you, the Technosite Coda will infect you with a growing pimple that remains on your Warframe until you vanquish or kill, I guess convert, sorry, that lich. It's going to be a green Sith, and it's going to absolutely mess your fashion frame up. So I would imagine that everyone is going to kill them as quick as possible, because fashion frame is literally the most important thing for most people.
It is!
Now,
Why
we
would
know
you
that the infested lich
put
system is
another
going to
infection
bring
thing?
a lot of new cosmetics. Apparently there is 8 new infested theme ephemeras, which are on screen right now from infest.
I hate that you can't see what they'll look like. I want that temporal prime ephemera that he has. That looks really cool.
The tails, heart huggers, pizza cutters, and there's also going to be random tints or colors for each lich
is
that you get, adding
Oh, it
variety.
puts out like a spear through you. Okay, so I want like 3 of those. I want this one. Spiky. I want this one, because that could probably go really well with Rhino. I want this one right here, because this one would go good on the infested frames. Mostly I want these 3. This one could probably go good on a, like, a battle scar, like, damaged frame, like, fashion.
To their appearance. So
You want the
We do
tails
know-
right there? I feel like the fox tails are still better. But I see why you would want them, because that's basically the Volpothia tails.
know that each lich that you're going to get will have at least one guaranteed cosmetic. We also know that there's going to be
I agree, that's
13
pretty good.
lich weapons. We know that Eleanor, back in the Helvania Mall, will have that valence swap adapter for platinum, which will allow you to change the elements on each of those lich weapons. If you don't like the element you have, you can switch it to something else. We know there's going to be Scaldra weapons that you're going to be able to buy the
Why would
blueprints
you want
of
your ephemera to have your
Minerva,
heart
aka
outside your body?
Proto Saryn as well. But they also showed us Ollie's Crash Course, which is a single-player Rainbow Road-style time trial for your bike with a leaderboard. And if you win, I think the leaderboard that week, you have a chance to get a bike skin, which is basically the Ollie bike skin. Now, this is a new arcade game inspired by Make-A-Wish recipient James Conlon, where players can earn Ollie's cosmetics, including a floof and that Tommy Cycle skin, simply by taking part in the Rainbow Road styled race and seeing how well they do on the leaderboard. Now, there is also a ton, and I mean a ton, of quality of life
Aw,
changes
that's
coming
cool.
with this update, not just the ones.
Shorten and rework the star chart path, including relevant junctions to the second Dream Quest, Lunar Necrobex, I bet you a lot of people that don't have their necromechs are gonna enjoy that. Remove high-level crafting materials when crafting an Arcwing. Oh, now you do it. After I've already freaking made them all. Arcwing launcher segment delivered upon quick completion of Arcwing quest. God. New players are... They're eating. They're eating,
That they showed
guys.
off on the last dev stream, but there's also the star chart for new player experience has been kind of shortened or streamlined to allow players to get through the star chart just that little bit quicker. Well, not get through, they haven't removed nodes, it's just to allow you to get to the more pivotal nodes quicker. They're also giving a necromech as a loaner to players who don't have one for the new war quest, because this has been a barrier for many players, making them, I guess, put the game down, because building a necromech can be a little bit time consuming or expensive for new players. So now they're going to get a necromech, which is an absolute huge change for new players.
So new players basically can just play the whole game now. There's no necromech issue now. I still need to make my sword necromech. I'm close to making it. I just need to like focus on and get the last piece and go and get my rank up.
On top of
I'll
this,
unlock
they
the
are also
blueprint.
buffing face-off to give periodic squad-wide boosts to help populate that game mode more. There will be ancient protector changes. They've removed high-level crafting materials for players crafting an Arcwing. The Arcwing launcher segment is delivered upon completion of the Arcwing quest as well. There are plenty of new Tenergen items coming, but they've also met...
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Rhino's gonna become like one of the most popular frames because of this, at least for beginners. The disband randoms after a mission is gonna make me so happy. So I can still add you guys in after I do a mission when I'm doing normals. I don't have to like specifically go and like constantly leave my own party. Rhino's getting a crafting timer reduction to 1 day. Like, his parts in total and him building total will be all reducted to an hour, to just 1 day. You'll be able to get them within a day. Instead of, what is it, like 3 days or 4 days for all the other ones? He's going to be 1 day.
mentioned the 12-year anniversary, which is coming on the...
Which I think they're going to slowly... They might open up the next few frames. I think they're going to open up probably Ember and like some of the other beginner frames. I think Rhino's just first because they're the first one you can get.
7th of March. Basically new dex items. Now the old dex items will all show
We're
up
gonna
as
see how well it
alerts
does.
throughout, I guess, the few weeks. But the new item is a dex ephemera, which you will get simply by logging in, and it will show up in your inbox. And this is pretty much what it looks like on the screen
Oh,
right
it looks
now.
pretty.
But that's pretty much, I guess, the main topics for the dev stream. I will have a new video tomorrow going over, I guess, the dev workshop post in relation to Ash and the pseudo Exalted rework to go into more detail as to how it works. But let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the dev stream, of everything that was shown, considering this is only part 2 of the stuff that's coming with the update on the 19th of March, as well as the dev stream in January, which has had all of the other stuff. So it's going to be a very, very big update. But hit that like
It's
button if
already
you enjoyed
huge.
the video, or don't if you didn't. Have a great weekend either way, and as always, thanks for watching.
I thought I turned you off, but okay. Alright. Tactical potato! Thank you, potato. But yeah, we love our potato.